Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shanna Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology, and instructional coach for my district.
And I'm her producer and husband, Fuzz Martin, and I have a 104 episode history of producing this podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
So clever.
I'm pretty clever.
Maybe you could write about it in hieroglyphs.
Maybe I could write about it in hieroglyphs. In fact, I might learn of a way to do that today.
Maybe. You might learn something new.
I might.
Yeah.
The ancient form of emojis.
Yes. Yes, it is.
We've gone from like hieroglyphs, which were like emojis, pictures,
yes. Mm-hmm.
and ways to express yourself with an image, to complex writing in Latin and Arabic and all this stuff. Back to emojis.
Yes.
Yes. So,
and what a great way to connect it with your students.
Yes, your students may be like, oh yeah, I get this. Oh, that person was angry.
Right.
Or that person was left on red.
Or they have a broken heart.
That tablet shows that person was left on red.
Mm.
Yeah.
So a little after a break we had here, and kind of excited for today's little chat.
Me too.
Because I found all these sites for one of our teachers at our school. And depending on the district you're in, I think it depends on when you teach ancient civilizations. In our district, in our area, we do it in 6th grade and then again in high school. So it kind of depends on how social studies is laid out and curriculum is laid out. But these sites can be played with by anybody because they are highly entertaining.
Wait, no. So am I going to get trapped? Well, and this may have happened on the episode before, a time or 103 ago. Am I going to end up digging into one of these during the show?
Yes, you're going to start playing with it and be like, oh my gosh.
You'll be like, hey.
We're still talking here. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes.
That's
probably going to happen. So shall we?
Buckle in, everybody.
Shall we get started? So when teaching ancient civilizations, Egypt comes up a lot. And hieroglyphics, the Rosetta Stone, such things. And what's cool is we talk every once in a while about a cool Google experiment. And they show up in Google Arts and Culture sometimes, or you can kind of just dig them up in Google Experiments. This one you will find, it's called Fabricius. And it's by Google Arts and Culture. And you will find it in the Arts Experiments section. So the site itself is artsexperiments.withgoogle.com/Fabricius/en. So it's not a quick one to type in, but if you just type in Fabricius by Google Arts and Culture, it'll come up. So what this does is it uses artificial intelligence to help decode languages. Specifically, this one's built around hieroglyphics. And what's really cool is there's different stages that it teaches you.
Okay.
So if you are working, let's say, with like early middle school students, 6th, 7th grade, pick a rain day or a snow day. Kids can play on this whether they're learning about it or not because it's really interesting and it explains everything to you. So you don't have to be teaching about ancient civilizations to play with the site, but it's cool. So the first section, so it's divided into 3 sections: learn, play, and work. And the learn section, it teaches you how to physically make them. So in 6 steps, I'm going to teach you how to make hieroglyphic script. And they have a little Safari, what are they called? Archaeologist. So they have an archaeologist that's cartoony and teaching you about the tombs.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, kind of. And how I'm going to take you back to 1922. We just opened this tomb, and it puts a story with it with real information. And then it loads in stages of learning how to trace hieroglyphics. So there's 6 stages to the process, and it walks you through each piece. So the first one is, and I'm always playing around with the site. So the first one is it gives you a picture and you have to trace it yourself. And then it'll tell you using AI how accurate you are at actually tracing it and drawing that hieroglyph. And then you move up to the next level where it's like, okay, great work. The next one, you did okay. You're at like 97%. Then it gives you the next one, teaches you how to do it faster. So you identify it. So it shows it to you for like 3 seconds. And you have to look at it and then memorize it and then draw it yourself. And again, it gives you all of this background information as you're going. And so it walks you through this process, which is super cool, to where you're drawing them and then the computer's identifying if you're accurate with the drawings that you make that are close to real hieroglyphs, which is awesome. So that's like the learn section. So it teaches you about like ideograms or signs that represent an idea, phonograms or symbols, like explains all these like really interesting like pieces of information. And then you're like drawing at the same time and they're identifying if you can actually do this, which is super cool. So that's the learn section. Yes, you're already drawing.
No, I'm not drawing, but this is something that your students are going to connect with when you learn this.
Yeah.
So the project itself it began with what is called the Hieroglyphics Initiative, which was a research project from Ubisoft, which is a video game maker, which makes Assassin's Creed, which is a pretty big game. And so they developed this hieroglyphics initiative with Google to put this together, which is like
super cool.
It's super cool. And there's a bunch of videos that talk about how they put it together so that
there's like background to
there's
it.
There's background
as well.
with like the game makers so that you can show your kids and then they're going to be like, yeah, that's what I want to do because I want to be a gamer.
Well, yeah, they want to make money gaming.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so then the second section is under play. And this section, it kind of is what started our initial conversation today, is that you get to type in your message and it loads it with emojis for you.
Yes.
But you can type in your little message like, hello, how are you today? And then once you do it, it gives you the hieroglyphs that would sort of say, like mine says, greetings, how are you today? So it will then take your written language, put it into hieroglyphs, which is awesome. And then you click send and you can share it.
Oh,
so
cool.
like you could, I think of like, if I want to share this out with students, it'd be so cool to like write out the day's message or like a question of the day or like decode my message at the start of class. Like what a great classroom opener, having the kids like decode your hieroglyphic message that you've written to them, but they can also, send you a message or, send messages back and forth, but they can use this and learn about the hieroglyphs and create their own. And then you have access to them where you can create it, click the share button, and then you can email it, you can project it, you can put it on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. So it's really cool that you can write your own messages in hieroglyphs and then share them with people.
That is very cool.
Are you writing messages?
No, of course not.
Fantastic. So you might find some random hieroglyphs on Twitter. We'll try it out this week. Yes, that is so happening. There's going to be coded Twitter messages this week in hieroglyphs.
See, I am happy.
Did you use an emoji? Because you can put that in there too.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, you can.
You can drop your emojis in. If you do the heart one, you get a face and a vase.
Yeah. Yeah.
That heart-eyed emoji. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
Yeah, look at that. One of the things that's like blowing me away right now is that they use if you want to say I or me, that is just like one emoji, not emoji, one hieroglyph of a kind of person looking up toward the sky. But then if you want to say like I love you, it's like 8 hieroglyphs to say those 3 words.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah.
So the play is where you can send coded messages, which is really fun and cool. As a teacher, you could drop some fun codes in your Google Classroom or something and kids can decode them or figure out different things or I don't know, it'd be kind of fun. And then the last piece, which is really, I think it goes along a little bit with what you talked about with the gaming before.
Yeah.
And the last one only works on desktops or like a computer.
Okay.
Versus like the learn and the play can be used on like phones or tablets too. But the last piece, it it's the Fabricius workbench. And what it does is this goes with the Hieroglyphics initiative that started in 2017. And so what they do is they help translate hieroglyphs.
Okay.
So you can start a project from scratch. You can watch the tutorial. You can import your project. And what it does is you find a chunk of hieroglyphs. Like you can find them online, find a tablet somewhere. You can find images of them.
Yeah.
What you do then is you upload the file, and then it gives you the process how to take the images and make them more clear. And it shows you the editing process to go through. So I'm thinking like,
so like add some contrast and stuff.
Upper middle school, like high school.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody could do it, but if you want to sit down and really do this in class. So it takes like pieces, and there's a Dr. Alexandra Woods walks you through each piece and how they translate smaller sections, and then how AI reads them to be able to translate more sections later. So this is part of the project where you take a piece, you like crop out a small section of the image, and then it shows you how to like almost Photoshop or pull the images forward. And then you take the tracing tools that you were practicing in the learn part, and you trace in the hieroglyphs. So that's what you learned in the first like section of this. And then you start sequencing the glyphs by the end of it and create the shape. And they give you like polygon tools, and they show you how to build it out so that it actually completes like what the words would be in these huge tablets.
Yeah.
So it's taking like everybody kind of to help create and read these ancient texts, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm watching right now, and it is very neat how it works
and it walks you through like step by step the whole process, like what you need to do, but a fun way to try things out and kind of explore.
Imagine, and you'll see this if you click on the video that's in the blog post. If you look at a wall engraved with hieroglyphs, it's not colored in. It's it's
all the same color. Yeah,
thousands of years old.
Yeah, and worn out.
It's worn out, and there are these carvings. So in order for the AI to work, it needs to recognize the pattern. So this is the process of you helping the AI determine what it's seeing. And it's really cool.
Yeah. And what a cool way to learn about like hieroglyphs and how modern technology is helping translate what these ancient texts say. Like it's just a really cool project. So again, whether your students are doing like ancient civilizations, or if they're into AI and the science behind that, if they are into any sort of archaeological things, if they want to send fun hieroglyphic messages to you, coded messages to their friends, like this site offers so many different tools for educators that are all in one space. And while, yes, it has a common theme, it's just really interesting. So if you get a chance, like play around with the site. And I think kids would really have fun with it as well.
I agree. I am as well.
Yeah, I know. It's very cool. So beyond ancient civilizations, there's a lot to offer.
So again, it's called Fabricius.
Yep.
And that is spelled just as it sounds.
Fabricius.
Yes.
Fabricius.
Fabricius.
Yep. With Google Arts and Culture.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, very good. That's a really cool tool. And actually, I think if you just spell it fabric and then add IUS at the end, that's the easy way to look at it.
There you go. The other site I wanted to throw in this week, because I was pulling things for Egypt. We needed Egypt things. I found a fun site created by an educator, and it's Egypt.MrDonn, DONN.org. This one's /games, but it is a whole list. If you're looking for stuff on ancient Egypt, whether you have a handful of students interested in it, because for us in middle school, it is a hot topic. Like kids, when they're learning about stuff, love to learn about Egypt. And so this site just has a huge collection of resources. And like they teach you how to write like a scribe. And some of them are games, like straight up just games. But they have a hieroglyphic typewriter that's interactive. What I thought was super cool is that they have ancient Egyptian number puzzles. And within that, they have all kinds of math lessons based on ancient Egyptian math and math problems and things like that. They have all kinds of interactive activities and online stuff. And what's kind of cool is they made sure to pull all of the Flash things that don't work anymore. They've already been pulled out of the site. So if you're looking for some fun ancient Egypt activities, they've got math lessons. There are online activities for kids. There is hieroglyphics that are interactive. It's just a giant list of probably over 30 things. And each one links to another site. So it's just a huge site that's housed with other sites on ancient Egypt. A lot of fun activities and vocabulary games and math and all kinds of fun stuff. So
another very interesting thing about Mr. Donn's website.
Yes.
Do you know what Donn's first name is?
Donn.
Yeah. It's Donn, and his last name is Donn. First name Donn with one N, last name Donn with two N's.
Nice.
And
he also has, if you're looking for ancient history, if you're a history teacher, he has ancient history, American history, world history, geography, holidays around the world. He's got a ton of resources for history teachers. So social studies teachers, here's a fun resource with all kinds of stuff.
Look at that.
Yep, and huge just collections of resources.
Like looking for something on Chinese New Year, he's got it, or Grandparents' Day, or
are you under the holidays one?
Yeah.
There's just a huge collection of resources, which is awesome. Yeah. And we love free resources, so we will take those.
We do love free resources. In fact, we love them so much that we started a podcast about it, and we come into our basement
out
and every weekend and do this.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So there's a little hieroglyphs and history for everybody.
Hieroglyphs and history.
Episode 104, folks.
I dig it. It's
have
fun
some
stuff.
Fun.
Yeah.
Learn some things.
Do the things.
And everybody have a fantabulous week ahead.
Yes, you do that.
Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at SmartNWI. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in this episode, visit smartandwi.com. If you'd like to support our show, please consider buying me a coffee or two. You can visit buymeacoffee.com/smartandwi or visit smartandwi.com and click on the cute little purple coffee cup. Your donations help keep this show going. New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed in this podcast and the Smart NWI website are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed on this podcast, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we hope they do. And we'll talk to you next time on the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast.